Gravity Falls might look like just a trippy cartoon with gnomes and conspiracy vibes, but low-key, it's kinda deep. Yeah, the show's chaotic and weird in the best way, but if you've really been paying attention, you know it sneaks in some legit life advice that hits harder than you'd expect from a kid's show. So in this vid, we're breaking down the most iconic quotes and life lessons Gravity Falls threw at us when we least expected it. Let's get into it, because this cartoon had no business being that wise. The first lesson.
This journal told me there was no one in Gravity Falls I could trust. But when you battle 100 gnomes side by side with someone, you realize that they've probably always got your back.
First episode, and Dipper's already dropping emotional truth bombs. At first, he's totally in his paranoid era, nose deep in Journal 3, convinced everyone's a threat because the author literally told him to trust no one. And honestly, in Gravity Falls, that's kinda valid. But after surviving a whole gnome swarm with Mabel, he finally gets it. Trust isn't something you read about. It's something that's earned mid-chaos, no cap. It's when someone shows up, even when things get weird. And bro, not gonna lie, this hit different. If there's one person you can always count on, it's family. No matter how bizarre life gets, you need someone in your corner. And more often than not, it's been them the whole time. Low-key, one of the realest things Dipper said. Next up, we have a tough lesson that we all have to go through eventually, especially if you're a teen just trying to hold on to something that feels safe.
I just wish summer could last forever.
It's Mabel's quiet wish, said with the kind of heartbreak that hits anyone who's ever had to let go of something good. And Dipper's response.
But it can't, Mabel. Look, things aren't gonna stay frozen this way. It's part of growing up. Things change. Summer ends.
Hits way too close to home. This moment from Dipper and Mabel versus the future isn't just about the season ending. It's about childhood ending. It's about facing the fact that even the best moments can't last forever. But that doesn't make them any less real or any less important. Not gonna lie, I felt this one in my soul. Gravity Falls never pretended we could freeze time. Instead, it showed us how to appreciate what we have while we have it, and how to carry the memories forward, even as we grow and move on. That's grown-up wisdom in cartoon form. After giving you lessons that you have to grow up eventually, let's take a breather with some top-tier Grunkle Stan wisdom. In the same episode, Grunkle Stan puts his arm around Mabel and drops,
Nobody likes getting older. But just because you're growing up doesn't mean you have to grow up, you know? I mean, look at me. I'm pushing 70 and I still eat ice cream for dinner.
In this moment, he's not just cracking a joke. He's giving Mabel, and honestly all of us, permission to hold on to what makes life fun. Growing older doesn't have to mean giving up your joy, your weirdness, or your inner kid. It just means learning how to carry all that into the big. Shout out to Stan for reminding us it's okay to age without turning boring. That's something Gravity Falls hits again and again. Mabel holds on to her creativity, Dipper matures without losing his curiosity, and Stan, well, he's living proof that you never have to stop being a total chaos gremlin to live your best life. Growing up is real, but staying true to your weird, chaotic self? That's the move. Things are getting a little serious, don't you think? Alright, time to bring back some pure Mabel chaos. I'm gonna show you a Mabel quote you wouldn't have thought had this deep message. Let's hear the banger.
The future is in the past. Onward, Deoshima!
On the surface, this line from the episode The Inconveniencing is Pure Chaos, spoken by Mabel during a full-blown smile dip-induced hallucination featuring flying neon dolphins, anime logic, and peak Mabel energy for real. But underneath the sugar-fueled madness is a surprisingly legit idea. Sometimes the only way to move forward is to look backwards. Gravity Falls constantly shows us that the past holds the keys. Old journals, buried secrets, forgotten truths. Not gonna lie, this might sound like total nonsense, but it low-key makes sense. Growth happens when we face what came before, not when we ignore it. So yeah, it might sound like something shouted during a candy trip, but the show somehow sneaks real self-help wisdom into the weirdest moments. Classic Gravity Falls move. Mask the truth with memes, then smack you with meaning. We've talked about bravery, growth, and identity, but what about knowing your worth? That's where Soos comes in and drops this banger.
Your side character, you die in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Dude, am I a side character?
Classic Soos. Funny, awkward, and accidentally deep. When I first heard this, I laughed, then paused like, wait, why is this actually kinda real? At first, he did feel like comic relief, But as Gravity Falls went on, Soos became one of the most essential and lovable parts of the entire show. He fixed the Mystery Shack, saved lives, delivered weird wisdom, and even got his own backstory and emotional growth arc. So yeah, plot twist. The real takeaway? You are never a side character. Not in your own life. You're the main character of your story. Literally everyone is. The world may treat you like a sidekick, but your story is yours to own. And trust me, even if you're the goofy one in the group chat, you still got main character energy. And next up, I've got some Ford wisdom for you.
Being a hero means fighting back even when it seems impossible.
Ford says to Dipper in Weirdmageddon Part 1, right when everything's falling apart. Bill's taken over, reality's broken, and hope feels like a punchline. But this line hits like a wake-up slap. It's the reminder Dipper, and honestly all of us, needed. Being a hero isn't about winning easily. It's about showing up when the odds are stacked, when you're outnumbered, outmatched, and still choose to resist. Ford didn't sugarcoat anything, he just dropped the truth and walked off like a boss. This moment captures Gravity Falls' core truth. Real strength isn't about power, it's about persistence. And in real life, it means facing whatever chaos you're in, anxiety, failure, doubt, and still choosing to move forward. Low-key, that's the kind of mindset that gets you through more than just monster invasions. That's hero energy. After all the chaos and comedy, this is the moment where Mabel gets real, and it might be one of her most honest lines in the whole show.
Being kind and sweet is what makes me who I am. If I'm not a good person, who am I?
This isn't just Mabel being dramatic, it's her facing something real. The fear of losing herself. And not gonna lie, that fear? Kinda universal. In a world where people constantly try to change to fit in, impress others, or win approval, Mabel stops and asks the question we all should. Who am I if I let go of what makes me good? That line hit harder than expected. The lesson here is powerful. Your values are your foundation. Being kind, being thoughtful, being you. That's what holds your identity together when everything else is shaky. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be real. If you lead with goodness, you never lose who you really are. And that's on being emotionally intelligent. Of course, growing up means learning how to handle your mistakes. And few moments show that better than this painfully honest line from Dipper.
Well, I just wanted to say that people make mistakes. And when they do, you should forgive them. And also that tight pants are overrated.
Dipper says this to Wendy after a full-on time travel disaster where he rewinds reality again and again just to impress her, only to realize it wasn't worth the cost. It's one of those classic Gravity Falls moments where the joke lands. Tight pants is peak awkward Dipper, but the lesson hits harder. Like, bro really risked the timeline and still got humbled. He learns that messing up is part of being human, and more importantly, that forgiveness matters. We all make bad calls sometimes, especially when emotions are involved. But owning your losses, apologizing and learning from them, that's character development, guys. Even if you're still rocking skinny jeans while doing it. And then in Season 2, Weirdmageddon Part 1, Dipper says to Gideon,
If I've learned anything this summer, it's that you can't force someone to love you. The best you can do is strive to be someone worthy of loving.
He says this while looking at Wendy because, yeah, he learned that the hard way, and it stung. This isn't Dipper being soft, it's Dipper finally standing on business. He looks Gideon dead in the eye and drops one of the realest lines in the entire show. No exaggeration. Gideon's out here being obsessed with forcing Mabel to love him, but Dipper cuts through all that. Love isn't something you take, it's something you earn by being better, by changing. This whole scene, major character development. It's not just about relationships, it's about becoming someone people can actually trust and look up to. And Dipper doesn't just say it, he dares Gideon to step up. If you want to be someone's hero, prove it. Be better. Do the right thing, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. That's real. Next up, I have an important lesson I dug out of Gravity Falls. Look, we've all had memories we wish we could just delete. But Mabel, she actually had the chance and still chose to face them.
No one likes having bad memories, but maybe it's better to remember the bad things you learn from them than to go all denial crazy trying to forget.
Wait, is that Mabel or a full-on auntie giving life advice? Yeah, that's it. A glitter-covered sweater-wearing auntie. Mabel says this after Wendy asks if she wants to erase her failed summer crushes. And it's a surprisingly grounded moment from someone who literally owns glitter in bulk. Like, this isn't just character growth, it's emotional maturity coming from the Queen of Chaos. Instead of pretending things never happened, Mabel chooses to own her awkward, painful memories because they're part of her story. That's the lesson here. Growth doesn't come from erasing mistakes or skipping the hard parts. It comes from facing them, feeling them, and learning who you are because of them. Sometimes the cringe is part of the origin story. It's a reminder that even the bad stuff helps shape the good stuff, if you're brave enough to remember. And that's the real question. Are you brave enough to keep the hard parts in the story? Now, a lesson that might feel a little confusing at first, but hits so much harder once you step outside the animation bubble.
Today I learned that morality is relative.
Mabel blurts this out at the end of the last Mabelcorn, and yeah, it comes out of nowhere, but low-key slaps you in the brain. Throughout the episode, she's judged by Celesta Bella Bethabel, aka the unicorn with the ultimate moral superiority complex, who puts Mabel through a ridiculous purity test just for fun. Even after 1,000 good deeds, she still labels Mabel as not pure-hearted. Like, girl, be serious. It's petty, unfair, and completely rigged. And yet it mirrors something very real. Because let's be honest, there are always people who act like they invented the rules of being a good person. People who will make you feel like you're not enough just because you don't match their version of perfection. But Mabel figures out something huge. Right and wrong aren't always black and white. Being a good person isn't about passing some flawless checklist. It's about doing your best, owning your flaws, and staying true to what you believe is right. People will always have opinions. They'll misjudge you, hold you to unfair standards, or make you second-guess yourself. But when Mabel says morality is relative, she's not giving up. She's leveling up. She's realizing that no one else gets to define her worth or her values. And honestly, that's peak emotional maturity. Like, Mabel just casually dropped a philosophy mic. Alright folks, I think that's enough wisdom for one video. A lot of people look at Gravity Falls and just see a mystery show. Ciphers, symbols, conspiracies. And yeah, that stuff's awesome. But beneath all the codes and chaos is something way deeper. This isn't just a cartoon packed with secrets. It's packed with truths, real ones, about growing up, finding your identity, trusting people, messing up, and getting back up again. The best part? Most of that wisdom isn't shouted. It's hidden, just like the clues. You've got to pay attention, dig a little deeper, and when you do, you realize the biggest lessons in Gravity Falls aren't in the journals. They're in the characters, in their mistakes, in the things they say when no one's really listening. That's the real magic. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.